Edwin wanted to know if his name had to be Jeff to be on the board.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And my other brother, Jeff. We can all be called Edwin if something goes wrong. Well, we blame it on Edwin. Blame it on the new guy.
I prefer it not be Jeff because you don't know how many times I've confused emails and caught it at the last second. So.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Chris. There he is.
So, not familiar who everyone is. Are you Mr. Booth?
Ed,
Okay,
Ed is
I've heard your name. I worked for Tommy for a few years, and I heard your name there, but I've never met you in person. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And is there anyone we know that's not?
Steve Brittingham will not be here. As far as that's, you know,
That's correct. I heard from Steve earlier. He said he was not going to be able to make it today.
What? Not even new?
Yeah, everybody should be able to make it via Zoom, right?
place.
Hey, I'm in Conway at a training and I ditched out so I could be at this meeting. So.
Nice.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Brandon. Thank you.
Get started here in just a moment.
Thank you.
All right, I'm showing 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and have Cindy record the roll call.
Trustee Booth? Oh,
Here.
you want to flip that switch on your
He
box
did.
to green? Okay.
Here,
Trustee Brittingham is absent. Trustee Hammack?
here,
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Okay. And Trustee Shattuck?
here,
Trustee Studeville is absent. And Chairman Pierce.
Here. All right, we have a quorum, so go ahead and open us up with an invocation. So if you'll bow with me, please. Heavenly Father, we just come to you today and we thank you for all the things that you do in our community. Lord, just help us make the decisions that will be pleasing to you and what's best for our community. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right, move on to item number 4 on the agenda, which is consideration and action for approval of minutes from the July 13th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion?
I do have one question on the roll call from last week on absent. It has Ashley Stuteville as trustee and advisory member.
Yeah, I think she is actually a trustee and not an advisory member, so that does need to be corrected.
So I make the amended motion to remove her name as advisory member and just show her as trustee.
Okay, and is there a second on that?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Can you please confirm for me who gave the motion and who seconded it, please?
Jeff Hammack. Jeff Shattuck.
Thank you. Trustee Booth?
Yes.
Trustee Hammack?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Chairman Pierce?
Abstain. All All right, we'll move on to 5, which is the review of the Industrial Authority financial reports. I think those just came in a few moments ago. Anything, Lisa, on those that we need to?
Actually, the check register is what you received a few moments ago, and Ann just brought printed copies. I apologize, I didn't realize I had that in my inbox. It came yesterday, I believe. But the financials were in the original handouts, and I'll step back and let Brandon handle that. Since
Yeah, we have our first version of our dashboard. We've talked about being this meeting happened as quick as it did. Lisa and I didn't get a chance to meet beforehand, and so we'll meet later this month to kind of finalize that. But what we have in there is just cash balances for it, and then a basically income statement for both the 110 account and the 020 account for it. I do need to look in the budget of the 020 account. I had a different number, and so I'll confirm that for the group, but it's not far off. I actually had 310 in the financials as total revenue, 310, 277 with a change in net position of $42,004 instead of 57. So we'll make sure that we'll see where those numbers came from, and I'll get with Lisa. But income statement.
Real quick, Brandon, I just want to remind you all, that's the number that Ann said changes daily. So whatever point in time when we do the reports, that's why the number is different on that one.
But even the budget, though? I'm talking about the budget number.
Yeah, it depends on what's coming in and what's going out. That's the way she explained it. So maybe when you and I get together, we can invite Ann.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
I would understand it to be that a budget would be a budget number that wouldn't change over the. Yeah. It's a question for Ann for sure.
Yep, and we'll get with her. Should be income statement, balance sheet for both in your packets. There are some supporting docs, and Ann has pretty much anything you need on detail. So if there are any questions, we can get that information to you.
Perfect. Any other questions on the financials? All right, we will we'll move on then to item number 6, consideration and action for the Durant Industrial Authority claims for July. So the claims are there. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary on those.
Everything is the normal Department of Commerce CDBG stuff that comes out of the account or goes into the account as credit. The only exception is the DIA license acquisition for that business retention expansion software that you all did authorize last month to Blaine Canada. So that has been paid for, and we are currently providing information so they can load the system for us.
All right, any questions on the claims? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to record the vote. Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion to accept. Sorry.
Motion.
Okay.
Jeff Hammock for the motion, and I need a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Brandon for the second. Now, sorry about that, Cindy. Secretary, record the vote.
Okay. Trustee Booth,
Yes.
Trustee Hammock,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes. All right. Item 7, consider and take action on hiring an attorney to revise the DIA bylaws. So I did watch the previous meeting. I wasn't at the last one. I know this was tabled item. My thoughts there was to get someone to, first of all, digitize that so that we have a copy that we can search through and that we can quickly go to when we have a question on the bylaws, and then without changing anything on the trust, if we could actually get those retyped again as well. And I'm not asking to change anything on the trust, just to retype it into a digital format so that we could also look through all of that. That would be my ask. And I think that's just a quick way when we have a question, we can just jump to the bylaws or the trust indenture and look at what it says, and then quickly move on. And so I think that'll save us some time in the future. That was my request. And so I don't think that was as clearly defined as what I wanted it to be, but I didn't anticipate not being there as well. So.
And that's why we tabled it, just to give you an opportunity to share. And I think you and I, we talked about getting it digitized, just to make sure.
I'm not asking to change anything unless said attorney found something in the bylaws that actually needed to be changed for legal reasons or something like that.
Chris, do you have any idea how much it might cost to do that?
I think it's a couple of $100 is my estimate. I think a lawyer's going to give that to a paralegal or something and let them probably deal with that.
If you're looking for a motion, I'll make that motion to digitize all the bylaws and everything that's associated with the Durant Industrial Authority.
I'll second.
Sorry, I was muted. Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Do you want, yes, I have a question. Do you want Lisa to look into that? Are you going to look into having an attorney do that, or do you already have somebody that could do that for us?
I did talk to Matt Mickle to see if that was something that he would feel comfortable doing for us. He said yes, and he could give us a quote for that. I would say that Lisa and I could take that quote and then also the quote from the firm that we use in Oklahoma City, figure out which one's going to be the best for us, as far as like if there's anything that maybe Matt doesn't have experience in or something like that, or if if the other place is way higher or something, then just let us kind of figure out what would be the best for us as far as the DIA goes.
Do we want to put some type of cap on there, Chris, as far as dollars? I mean, you mentioned a couple $100, but
Lisa has the authority to spend up to, I think, $2,500 without approval, but I wouldn't think it would be near that. I think it would be way less. So I'd say maybe a max cap of like $500 would be, I think, way exceeding what we would spend. Would that make you feel better, Brandon, if we put a cap on it of some price?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you think it is. If it's, I mean,
or just get a price and bring it back to the board. I'm okay with that too. I don't think it has to be done.
Heck, I'd rather just vote on it, and that way you guys can pull the trigger and move forward on it. So, I mean, I don't know if 500 is it, or is it 1,000? No more than 1,000. Whatever you think will get it done. So,
yeah, I'm just thinking. If it's under that cap, I don't even know that we need to put that because Lisa have the authority to expend those funds without us. So
yeah, that's fine then.
Okay. So I guess the motion stands. Any further discussion on that?
I have a question, so I can clarify this in the minutes.
Sure.
Because last month there was discussion about condensing it into one document. Are you talking about digitizing each document or making it into one document?
Digitizing each document. It will not be condensed into one document for legal reasons.
Okay. Are we ready for a vote then?
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Trustee Booth,
Yes.
Trustee Hammack,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes. All right, thank you. And we will move on to the item 8, which is consider and take action for the adoption of a 2020 strategic plan. I think you all have had time to look that over in your email, probably even talk to Lisa if you did have questions on it. Lisa, do you have anything that you would like to add to that discussion?
I just want to remind everyone, because I've had a couple comments on the mission statement. This mission statement came from a document, the last strategic planning document that was developed for the DIA back in 2011. So that did not change. It's word for word what the mission statement is for DIA. So if we need to change that, we can do that at some point in the future. And I only got a couple of questions about it. So if anybody has anything now, I mean, I'll be happy to answer them.
I looked it over. I thought it looked fine. So. Any questions for Lisa or anything?
Somebody had a question. You need a motion?
Yeah, hearing no further discussion, love to entertain a motion. So
moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Trustee Booth,
Yes.
trustee Hammond,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Shattuck,
Aye.
Chairman Pierce.
Aye. All right, moving down to 9, yes, 9. Consider and take action on easement request from Rural Water and Sewer District number 5. So Lisa, as we discussed on this, I think that this isn't going to change much, but do you want to give us a little bit of clarity on that?
Yeah, so we have a new company that's going in downtown, Lost Street Brewery. They are in an industrial area, so it's zoned industrial. And they are listed as a manufacturer. Their NAICS code is manufacturing first. So 90% of what they do will be manufacturing or, making beer. And so they will have some ancillary things to help market. They'll use retail, designing t-shirts, mugs, things like that to draw people in, try their product, maybe buy a t-shirt and get some advertising out of that. So I have a little bit of that going on, some tasting, but again, 90% of what they do will be making beer. And so I want us, while we are discussing this, because I think I saw Scott out there in the audience, and I'll shut up and let him talk in a second, but I did want to just make you all more aware of something as you go into making this decision. The things that are in this, and you had opportunity to look over the request letter, which I had asked Scott to write when we first discussed this. When the DIA works to bring in a company and we provide incentives for them, they may provide 25, 50 jobs, whatever it is. I think, we spend a lot of money, and it's been well spent. I mean, it's been good for us, a good investment. But we've really, we've talked a lot about how we don't do anything for existing entrepreneurs locally, really. We don't really provide incentives to keep people at home, to help existing businesses expand, and to do what we can to retain them. And so I want us to be mindful of the fact that we're really trying to almost rebrand the DIA and make sure that our local businesses know that we support them just as much as we support those companies we're bringing in. Because again, they're creating jobs, and they're growing right here local. And it's more cost effective to, assist local businesses than it is to recruit a whole new industry to town. So that being said, there are, I believe, 5 different infrastructure projects that are listed in this letter. Initially, Scott and I had a discussion about the sidewalk on the outside of the business, which is the business owner's responsibility. The city will come in and provide the labor if if somebody else picks up the cost of the materials for the project. So Scott and I were talking, about the future of what they need to, open up for business. And so all of those things are listed in this letter. And these are all infrastructure things that from the opinions that we have received from the Economic Development Law Center about the ordinance. I believe all of these infrastructure things can be paid for with sales tax. And I want us to be mindful that when we do something that is infrastructure related, and Scott might want to plug his ears because I'm just using it for instance, not trying to jinx the business. But if we invest in this infrastructure and 2 years down the line, Lost Street goes under, we have an industrial zoned building in the downtown with infrastructure that stays with it. Scott can't rip up the sidewalk material and take it with him when he goes. It stays with the building. So we are investing in that building. We are investing in the downtown, and we are investing in a local business. So whether you choose to do this or not, please keep those things in mind. And I'll shut up and let Scott.
You want me to speak, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Lisa, for working with us on this. This is a project we've been working on for a little over 2.5 years. The size and scope of the project is much bigger than a lot of people might consider when talking about putting in a microbrewery. But this is a big project for our family. We love the location. We love the 2 buildings that we were able to purchase from Mr. Wheeler. We've got 18,000 square feet to use and grow into. Initially, we'll use about 10,000 actually 8,000 square feet of that 18,000. The other bonus to the property is it comes with the parking lot in the back. I don't know if you've driven by, but there's a big parking lot back there. I think we have the architectural drawings that have been submitted to the city, I think show 22 parking spots back there. So we're excited about that. We do think, in keeping with a lot of things that are happening downtown, that we're going to see more pedestrian traffic. We think people will walk to our location from Market Square. We think people will walk from our location to Market Square. So I think the safer we can make those byways and such, the better. The sidewalk on the east side, frankly, has got to be removed. It's not just an eyesore, it's just structurally, somebody's going to get hurt. And so that needs to be fixed. And then you have the list of the other stuff, some of which is probably phase 2 or phase 3 down the road. John and I and Marty and several other people with the city have met on numerous occasions from the start. We were just very fortunate to find a piece of property properly zoned for what we want to do in a really good location downtown. I think we can be a really nice anchor for folks. I'm happy to answer any questions. All of our cost projections are based on benchmark data that we received from the National Brewers Association, of which we've been members for almost 3 years. All of our salary information came from them. We didn't list exactly what titles we would have, but we will have a head brewer that will come in. That's probably a $50,000 to $60,000 a year job. The numbers I quoted in there, I went conservative. I would far rather under promise and over deliver than just to make up a whole bunch of numbers in red and blue sky. So that's what we're looking at. We think if we can improve the sidewalks, if we can do some things to the north side of the building, which we have city utilities running parallel to the north side of the building on Lost Street. We've already talked to the city and trying to figure out a way to put it in a portable ramp so we can get traffic into the building from the north side. But if something needs to be fixed with the utilities, we pick it up, they come in, they fix it, then we put it back. So we're not looking for anything permanent on that north side. That's more of maybe a little bit of curbing, some rock, make it look nice, put some stepping stones in it, and really make it more of an avenue, if you will, We envision at some point having what we would consider to be the Lost Street Loop, which would go from our building on First and Lost, maybe all the way down to 6th or 7th Street, all the way down to Iron Horse Gallery. Most of the retail shops that face Main have rear entrances, and the city's already invested substantial money in parking behind some of those businesses like Copper Kettle and such. So I want to thank Lisa for encouraging us to come forward and share this with you guys. We're very excited about our project. We think we'll open sometime mid-October, depending on equipment schedules and that type of thing. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, and certainly take any advice and counsel that you all might have.
So the monies, I do have a question, if that's okay, Chris.
Please.
The monies would be used primarily for infrastructure on the north side and east side.
North and east side, yes.
Okay. And if it's approved, then will the work be done and then the request for the funds to be made, or would you need the funds up front?
I think we just have to work that out. I'm not sure exactly how that would work. My preference, my own preference would be that DIA and the city get together, because the city's talking about providing the labor for it. We would not receive any of the funds. The funds for the materials would go directly to the city. We don't even want in that loop. That resource would be nice to have.
If I could clarify that very quickly. So if it is property that is technically in the city right away, and Marty helped me with this, if I get off track here. So the sidewalks, the city could provide labor for that, or the drainage problem with the curbing or anything like that we were able to work out. The city could potentially provide the labor for that if we were able to provide the cost for materials. Any work that was completed on private property or Lost Streets property, the city cannot do the work on that property. We would have to, I'm assuming, contract that out. John? Yes.
That's good.
That's all the question I had.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you.
Yes, sir. All right, guess now that we have that information, entertain a motion to take action on that.
Since it's for infrastructure and it's to help increase the value of our community, I would lean to make that motion to grant the request of $25,000 for the infrastructure improvements as described.
Yeah, I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Okay, and are we talking about item 10? I'm presuming we skipped 9.
Yes, it should be number 10, right?
We're on 10, yes. We didn't skip 9.
We did.
Yeah,
Oh.
we did.
I am so sorry.
Okay. Trustee Booth,
Yes.
Trustee Hammack,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes. And I apologize. I thought we covered 9. I guess I'm in my own world over here in Zoom. So let's go back to 9, the consideration and action for the easement for rural water and sewer district number 5.
And I got to tell you, I sent another email Friday, left some messages. We still haven't received good language, for lack of a better description, for this easement. Each time the rural water district sends us the legal description for the language, our maps guru, Aaron, there with the city, part of the language that's included in this latest legal description, Aaron and I discussed it on Friday afternoon, and it's actually asking for easement partially on DIA owned property and the other piece is on UPS owned, or I'm sorry, not UPS, Department of Transportation right of way. So you couldn't approve the language as is. And I had requested, I spoke with Jeff on Thursday afternoon and then again on Friday and asked him to be at the meeting and to, you know, bring the new language and I didn't see him out there. He may be there. Is he there?
I only saw.
I'm guessing no.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
So we probably need to table this again because really legally we can't sign the document as is. The language is giving easement on land that doesn't belong to us.
Anyone want to make a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to table. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Trustee Booth,
Yes.
trustee Hammack,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes. Sorry about that, Cindy. Moving on to 11, consider and take action for requests for support for the downtown lighting project. So I think Mr. Armour's here with us. Curtis, if you want to come up and talk to us a little bit, and then Lisa, do you have something to add to that as well?
I actually wanted to kind of frame this for you if I could really
Absolutely.
quickly, just to keep in mind while you're listening as Curtis makes his way up. So this lighting project, you know, I've heard a lot about it. I've seen it done in other communities. It really helps out with downtown, encourages people to come downtown after dark. You'll hear more about that from Curtis. In a nutshell, it helps to improve quality of life. It's one of those, you know, bulleted lists of things to do in your downtown to make it more enjoyable. And so this is a quality of life improvement type project. Quality of life is one of those top 10 things that companies look at when they come to our town. So I believe in this project. I think it's a great project. I just want you all to be mindful that if we support this project, it cannot come from the sales tax, is my understanding. It will have to come from the 020 account.
Yeah, and just to add something onto that, I think back to what you said earlier about putting infrastructure in, but also we have lots of businesses that come to our area and they spec us out. And so if we have something that's, for lack of a better word, eye appealing to those people who are coming to our community, I think it's going to be a really, really good thing to try to attract new business as well. So that was why I thought it was a great idea to have Curtis come and present this to us. So Curtis, take it away.
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. And this is something that kicked around for a long, long time. And I think the stars are kind of aligned. And the first thing I want to make sure that I point out is we're not coming to DIA to fund this entire thing. We are looking for support and hopefully a little bit of financial support to get this done. It started out with the Tourism Authority. I presented that to them. They were very encouraging. The original plan was to hang LED lights in crosses down each block from 4th down Main all the way to 1st. They liked it and asked why we only did that much. So you have to forgive me. I don't have a lot of stuff to give you, but we're still early in the planning stage of this, and it's getting big enough that we want to make sure it's done right. So we've done a new, very rough sketch and drawing of taking lights from 5th Street all the way to 1st, turning the corner down 1st, getting past Main Street Barbecue, and then wrapping Market Square, as well as lighting up down 2nd and 3rd going north, hoping that this is going to be in phases. You know, as I explained to them, this is something with what Scott's doing with Law Street Brewery. Tony from Roma's is injecting a ton of capital into that building on the corner of 2nd and Main. Now it's time for the city to step up and help support these people. This is going to give us probably 5 or 6 good anchor restaurants, bars, grills that will bring people downtown. This is tourism. This is how we're going to stimulate sales tax in the city. This really is what it is. There's a wonderful marketing to get people to our downtown, that people come to the casino every single day. And if we can get just a few of those people to come downtown and spend money, it will mean a ton. rough estimates, just kind of playing around with numbers. If you can bring 200 people downtown each week, it's about 50 grand a year to the city. I think that's a no-brainer. You add what Scott and them are doing and what Tony's doing, you can get 500 or 600 people downtown. And now all of a sudden you're talking $100,000, $150,000 in sales tax revenue, just looking at the 2 cents and operating the capital improvement money. It'll also help fund DIA. You guys have a vested interest in sales tax going up. So again, this is something that's been laying out there for a long time. We finally got the stars aligned. We have people injecting capital in our downtown. Now it's time for the rest of the city to step up and help get this done. And I really, truly think lighting downtown up like that will make it pedestrian friendly, where people will come downtown, bounce from restaurant to venue. You know, you've got the Ice House, Abby J's, the pub, Roma's, Roadhouse. Let's make this a place that people want to come hang out, spend money. And, you know, if any assistance that you guys can give us in getting this done, the preliminary number that we've come back with after expanding is about $135,000 to $140,000. This is all going to be located on city property. It'll be put on separate poles. The city has already, you know, stepped up and said they'll take possession of it and they'll pay for the electricity. Electricity will be minimal. It looks like the lights we're looking at are 2.5 watt bulbs, 30,000 hour bulbs. So the maintenance on this shouldn't be huge. They'll be strung on steel cables from pole to pole. But again, we're going and having renderings done to make sure we don't clutter up the aesthetics. I hope here in the next week or two, we'll have some better renderings and some better ideas. And so this is still early. No, we can't vote for, you know, you guys spending a bunch of money, but I do want support, and I would love to have some financial support to help get this done. I think this is a huge project for the city and can have long lasting dividends. So any questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Yeah, and just so you know, for the city's sake, that'll be 73 cents a year on the cost of each of those bulbs. So not very much expense, but
Nope.
Those are great efficiency bulbs.
The original plan from 4th to 1st Street, the estimated cost on electricity was less than $600 a year. So this will probably be a little bit more than double that, but still you're talking $1,000, $1,200 a year for the electricity. And we've kicked around some additional things since this is starting to grow, as we're even trying to look back and see, could you find LED lights that you could change the color of? So Durant has a football game, you light it up red. Southeastern has a game, you light it up blue. So.
How far, Curtis, how far did you say this, you're looking at expanding this from 1st Street to?
From 5th
From
to
5th.
1st.
5th to 1st initially.
Well, actually, the original was from 4th.
4th, okay.
4th.
That's what this, the
Yes,
yellow, that's 4th, okay.
Yes. There's a new one, and I thought I'd send it. I didn't know if it got to you guys, but we're going to double it up, and hopefully we'll get it to where we can turn the corner, go around Lost Street. Those are some of the other things that we really need to do from the city standpoint. If we can light up Lost Street, and if you'll talk to those business owners down there, they're having horrible problems with transients stealing stuff, scattering trash. If we'll light it up, and if we can get some police presence down there, stuff, you know, make people feel safe, because there are going to have to be a lot of people that are going to park on Lost Street once this is all open.
And y'all are still work which committee, or is it just?
Well, this it's somewhere between the chamber. Main Street is the one that's really kind of helping this. Stephanie's doing a ton of legwork for me. And
So it's a collective group.
Yeah, it's a collective group.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get as many people behind this thing as we possibly can and get it done.
But you said you're still working on final numbers for the total cost?
Well, once we get, you know, well, it kind of depends on how we structure this. If the city or the tourism authority pays for it, or you guys pay for it, it'll all have to go out for bid. Well, all we have right now is preliminary bids from Texoma Manufacturing, which it would be nice to keep that local if we can. But again, you know, Main Street's working with the state association to actually do true renderings. We're trying to make sure that we make the aesthetics of it nice and we don't screw this up.
Hey, Curtis, I was out of town when you presented to the tourism board, but did you guys talk about kind of ongoing maintenance? Is the city taking responsibility of that, or who's
Yeah,
owning that
The
part?
city has stepped up and said that they would maintain, John.
Yeah, Brandon, we took this to council last month and presented it, and they are in support of the project, and we will do the maintenance and pay the electricity. So
Okay.
it's a permanent commitment that the city's made to this project, so.
Great.
I'm all in favor of supporting the project. I'd like to see some final numbers.
I can understand that, you
Yeah.
know, the big thing is, you know, would like to have some understanding if there will be some financial support that can make it from DIA. I know that we can't get hard numbers at this point till we see the final stuff, and hopefully I'll come back here in the next month or two and have nice renderings and drawings and harder numbers. Again, just trying to find out what kind of support we can get through the industrial authority.
Yeah, and I think it's good to see other partners also stepping up. So Main Street and those folks, right, of what's going to be their commitment as well. And I think we're all in this together.
We have any preliminaries on what other people are doing? So, I mean, I'm just curious, Curtis, as to if there's even a general ask here that we could vote on, or if we just need to, you know, give you some kind of a commitment
Well,
that
if you
we're
guys,
interested.
I would be more than happy if you guys, you know, put a cap on what you're willing to do. We'll bring you back hard numbers and let you do a final vote. But it'd be nice to have some kind of idea what kind of financial support we could have from DIA. I think tourism's going to step up, and at least that was my understanding, and do the majority of it. But we're trying to find.
Was that at 140 though, Curtis? Was that at your 32 initial investment?
That was at that 35 that we threw out originally, but then they asked that we'd step back and redesign and take more into the plan.
I know for me, I mean, I like the idea. I would like to probably come back and just say, hey, here's what the others are putting into it and what you guys need. And just to see final numbers, I think is good to see an overall scope of the project.
So do you want us to get it out for bid first, or do you want, I mean, just preliminary numbers of who's going to inject what into the plan?
Well, I don't think you have to go. I mean, I would think Texoma could get it pretty close, right? Of what cost is, and then just what you're seeing from other partners, from what they're putting into it.
You know, the hard part's trying to figure out. I don't know that you really want to take it to a bid if you don't have any idea of where you're going to be monetarily. Does that kind of make sense? You know, we've got a good number from Texoma. I mean, I think they'll install it for the 135, the quote that we've got. But if it goes through if the tourism authority pays for it, if it all flows through Main Street, you don't have to take it to bid, is the way I understand it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, John.
I think if the money that we support, if we were to put any money into it, John, we would have to get a bid on it at that point, though, right? Unless we just give, and if we were to gift the money to Main Street, is that what you're thinking?
That's correct.
Okay.
So if we were to do, if any one of the three entities, the city, the tourism authority, or the DIA was to do the project, it would have to go through the bidding process.
Curtis, my only concern here, I'll speak from what I'm thinking here is, let's say that we in an open meeting here say we're going to be willing to support $50,000 or something like that. I'm afraid that could jeopardize the bidding process a little bit, as far as like, if you go out and get this bid and all of a sudden somebody knows there's 50 here and there's 50 here and there's 50 here, then, you know, everybody's price might be 150 instead of the lowest dollar that it might be.
I mean, I kind of see what you're saying about that. You know, I think there is going to be some pushback that everybody's going to wait on somebody else.
Sure.
How much larger is it now, Curtis, with the new drawing?
Excuse me?
How much larger is it with the new drawing?
135 was the
That was with everything?
That was their bid off what we put on, and I will,
For the current drawing, not the one we have here.
yes, for the current, not the one that you have there.
Hey, and Curtis, you talked initially about possibly phasing it. Has that been
Yeah.
talked about even more?
That was, originally we did that smaller drawing from 4th Street to 1st Street, hoping that we could do something in phases, a couple of years. Tourism really wanted us to see about, stepping that up. And we're thinking the next phase was to go to the south side of 2nd and 3rd and down Lost Street.
That's in addition to the 135 though, right, Curtis?
That would be in addition to the
That's-
135. Yeah.
That's like phase 2, phase 3, whatever.
All right, what's
Sorry,
the,
those of you on video can't see this, but I will make sure that Lisa gets an email of a very, very rough sketch that we ran with, and we'll hopefully have the renderings here in the next week.
all right, any other questions from the board?
I think I agree with Brandon that, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm definitely in favor of doing it. Just need to see. And I agree with Chris that, it could impact, is it a percentage or is it a fixed dollar or cap, whatever? Just don't know since we don't.
What, are you talking about the bid side of it or
Well,
about what
on
everybody's
what
given?
we might, if the
Like I said,
DIA agrees to whatever.
I'm perfectly fine if DIA caps it at, say 20, 25, whatever. I mean, we'll find it somewhere else, I think, like I said, tourism has stepped up and I think they will be a huge, huge contributor to this. And if we have to back up and redesign because we don't have contributions for enough money to get all that done, then maybe we just do from 5th to 1st and then we'll come back and do the rest of it again. But tourism is sitting on a pretty good chunk of money. I really think they need to step up and fund the biggest majority of this. I've said that the bank was willing to step up and pitch some money at it. I hope First Takes Home would. Brandon with First United be willing to, I'm sure we all can't throw huge sums of money at it. But I think there's a lot of people that know that this is a huge benefit for the city. This is something that'll pay us dividends for years. And like I said, the big thing to me is it gives us an avenue, gives us a reason to get people to come out of the casino to come downtown. That's our tourism. That's where our tourism dollars need to be spent.
If I could just remind y'all too, anytime we do something that increases the sales tax, our quarter-cent sales tax account goes up as well. Just quick reminder.
More than willing to come back next month with renderings and drawings and maybe a little harder cost if that makes it a little easier.
I personally would like to see, I'm in favor of it. I just like to see more hard data.
Okay.
I am definitely in favor of it, and I'm the same way. I just love to get a little bit more fleshed out before I make a vote on it.
Yeah, same here. And I think, Curtis, it'd be good to see, as you're talking about, hey, it's a partnership too, right, with some local businesses. And so what portion will be that is your idea? And I'm happy to look and see if we can do anything at the bank even.
Like I said, all of us as business people around town will stand benefit from this in some way, shape, or form, and the city will stand the biggest benefit. So the plan is I will bring new renderings. We'll update any dollar costs for the plan the way it stands. I will have Lisa send out those renderings as soon as we get pictures in of what we anticipate it will look like. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or give me a call.
Hey, Curtis, I think it'd be good too to if you had to phase it, what would that look like as well?
And what commitments you have. financial support.
Yeah, we'll try to get who's willing to throw what.
Thank you.
I think if we could get DIA to actually just make a motion to support the project, that would be very beneficial for other partners, right? Not commit to a cost, but at least to support it as a project. That makes sense. I mean, that's what the city council did, just that they would support the project. So anyway, I think it actually puts you on record. So
That's a good idea.
Chris, I'm good with making that a motion as presented by John Dean.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for just showing support for the project that Curtis just presented to us. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, Secretary, record the vote.
Trustee Booth,
Yes.
trustee Hammack,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes,
Thank you very much for your time.
thank you, Curtis. All right, we'll just, we'll move on to item number 12, which is informational items and the executive director's report. Lisa, you got, I think we got another meeting starting, so you got about 12 minutes.
Okay, I'll make it super fast. So you all received this in your packet, but I want to point out a few things because I have been spending some money. I've been in close contact with Cardinal Glass, their plant manager, Sean Banner. We are working together to prepare a proposal for a company that we're trying to recruit from South Texas to Durant. And Sean Banner and I, and as well as the assistant city manager, James Dalton, we took the side-by-side out to look at the property next to Cardinal Glass. There's a huge pond in the middle of it. There's 47 acres there, maybe 25 of that is usable. I'm just making a guess here. But before any project comes into that property, we need to have a phase 1 environmental site assessment conducted. I have already ordered that. It should be completed by the end of this week. That was at a cost of $2,350. It is something we have to do. So I just went ahead and did that. We do have money that's in the budget for consulting and contract labor. And so this money was something that's budgeted for anyway. So we need to go ahead and do that. The life of a phase 1 site assessment is about 180 days. So, you know, I kind of contemplated that. We're putting a lot into, you know, this project that we're trying to recruit here, but this is a good investment. And not much is going to change with that environmental on that property if we don't get a project for another year or so, because we don't have anything going in next to it that would, you know, cause drainage to be different or anything like that. So that's money that I've spent. Also, when we were out there, the land is very grown up. You know, our other 4 sites that we have, or I'm sorry, 3 sites that we have, they are leased out for agricultural purposes. So they are cut regularly. They have cattle running on them. However, this property next to Cardinal Glass, it is grown up really bad. If we did have a site selector or someone come in to look at the property, it's very hard to get back there and really see. It seriously needs to be brush hogged. I've been checking with a few people, and I'm getting an average cost of about $30 per acre to go in there and brush hog it. Not just anybody can do it. I spoke with someone from the local farm service agency, and he said that we would have to hire someone that has the larger equipment to be able to get in there and do what needs to be done. So we're looking at somewhere around $1,500 to get this done, but it needs to be done. And this is not city property. I already tried to go that route. So it's not something that city workers could, my understanding, it's not something the city workers could do. We're just gonna have to hire somebody to go out and do it. So I need you to think about that investment. It is under the $2,500. So I could do it, but I kind of want your thoughts on that before I just move forward with it. But it's something, this project, if we're going to recruit this company from South Texas, we're on a very, very tight schedule because their lease is up in less than 2 years. And so if they are going to build a new plant somewhere, state-of-the-art plant, order the equipment, have it in place, and get ready to open before that 2-year lease is up, they need to be making their decision pretty quick within the next few months. And so we need to prepare on our end for a visit, because we're really, this is a good prospect, a very good prospect. What are your thoughts on having the property brush hogged? I mean, it's very snaky, very grown up. We couldn't even get through. We had to end up driving on the outside of it on most of it to look at it.
It's within your authority as far as budget wise. It doesn't sound, you said $30 an acre, give or take.
Yes.
How many acres?
47.
$1,410.
Yeah, needs to be done. Needs to be done. So I'd say get it done. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I agree, and I don't think there's any action to take unless someone just
Okay.
doesn't want you to do it.
No, yeah, no, I didn't put it on there as action because it is within my authority to just spend it, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were before I moved ahead with that, because I did already spend the other money this last week, but it's, again, something that needed to be done. Okay, so moving on, real estate committee, they meet again August 25th. We had a great meeting earlier this month on that. Some more to come. Other activity. So we had Department of Commerce representatives that came down a couple weeks ago, spent about a day and a half with us, visiting local businesses and such. They are really pressuring communities to work on site certification. And what that would do is we prepare an application. I've already started an application for our 95 acres. Technically, that's 2 pieces of property, but I'm trying to do it as one site up on McLean. And so I've started that application, and it is $1,000 certification fee. I'm in discussions with OG&E to see if they will pay that $1,000 for the application fee. They're kind of on a tight budget right now, so that may or may not pan out. But I would like to go ahead, if they're not able to do it, I'd really like to go ahead and get this site certified. What that gets us in return is we will be on the top of the list. There's only 38 certified sites in the whole state of Oklahoma. And if you have a certified site, they do drone footage and put that video on your on the web page for that piece of property that's on the state site selection. Locate Oklahoma, I think is the site, but it's with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. So it's something where it will put Durant back on the top of the list where we once were. So what are your thoughts?
Again, I think it's something that needs to be done. It's something that will put us on the map, make us, our community or our county even that much stronger as far as certification. If we're not certified, then some companies that come in and look for that designation, they'll just bypass us and go somewhere else.
Right. And when you have a certified site, it means it's shovel ready. And so they don't have to wait on finding out all the extra stuff. We've already, been diligent and done everything ahead of time. So that's very appealing to companies that are looking.
I think just keep us informed if OG&E comes through, if you would. That way we can thank them if we see Robert, whatever.
Yeah. And like I said, he's working on that. We're having discussions with his higher ups now. Just don't have an answer yet. So. And then I only had one other thing that I very quickly want to bring to your attention because it's 3 minutes till. I want us to be thinking about marketing the Durant Industrial Authority in the Durant area. I want us to be thinking about an updated website, web presence. I want us to start working on social media, videos of available property and of Durant highlighting what's here for companies, testimonials from company representatives on the website. I just think that, there are a lot of communities right here in Oklahoma that are way ahead of Durant. And I think if we want to continue growing, we're going to have to get a major update. So I just want us to keep that in mind for next time. And that's it.
Right. Any other informational items? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion. Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Secretary, record the vote.
Trustee Booth,
Yes.
trustee Hammett,
Yes.
trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Chairman Pierce.
Yes. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you.